Welcome to Linux Saloon, a place to discuss. I can't talk. Excellent for a podcast. Tech, open source, and where Linux is always on tap. Each show will have a talk about Linux projects such as the Linux distribution, desktop environment, or application. We will also chat about the news or any variety of topics from the community. Anything that's Linux, tech, and open source related is on the table for discussion. I'm Nate, Linux fitness and vintage tech enthusiast with an almost unhealthy obsession with the OpenSUSE project. And with me today, I got a fantastic panel of people. A new face even, unless he ran off. No, he's here. He's still there. I got Mike Chilson. I got Harry Brewer. Oh, and then Yu-Gi-Oh! Master 88 just popped in. Sneaking in the door as class is starting. You're tardy. Where's your tardy slip? I'm just kidding. GNU Rex, Ben, Adam of the Mountain Goat fame, I guess. I don't know. Jinda and Dale of Low Tech Linux. How is everybody?
Excellent.
I'm good.
Fantastic. So how are we liking the Discord versus Zoom? I'm just kind of curious. I want to kind of kick it off with that a little bit, just because I'm curious to know, do you guys even care? Does it matter? Is it just whatever?
In my honest opinion, I think it's a lot better because this way, it's the open chats are pretty much centralized to one app rather than going through several different channels in order to get into the open chat. Like with Zoom, for example, you had to go through a link and then you had to wait to be put in. It's a process, but with Discord, there is no wait time. You're just in, and that's it.
Okay. I don't. Any other thoughts on that? I mean, Jinda, I don't think you had to you had to dust off your Discord account, I guess, to get in. Was that a fact, Jack?
I have no idea why, but it says, if you don't log in right away, you're gonna remove this account. And I did it 6 years ago, and I'm like, okay. So I finally got it to work, but last week when I updated it, it just kept on kicking me out for some reason.
I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't on Discord. I didn't even know that there was a live stream happening or anything. I just saw people in the voice chat and figured I'd hop on in. So.
Well, beautiful.
Okay, so we'll get more traffic, you think, with Discord than we would with Zoom because it's isolated.
Yes.
So that's a positive, I think, because I'd like to get more, drive-bys, as it were, not the bad kind, but the good kind.
Yeah, the kind that give cookies, not bullets.
Right. The kind that wear SUSE socks.
Right, the kind that wears SUSE socks, which that's pretty awesome, by the way. Anyway, yes, those. So, anyway, well, thank you for that. Appreciate the feedback. Take it in consideration. I'm just so you know, I'm really bad about being on Discord. Like, for whatever reason, I have some sort of a mental block with Discord, and I can't quite work it out yet. I'll get there eventually, I'm sure. I've been saying this for about 3 years, so maybe 4 years. I'll do my best. Anyway, be sure to do the straw poll if you haven't done so already. Check out the straw poll. How your experience with MiniOS has been. So check that out. The straw poll. It's in the chat. So on the docket for today, we're going to talk about MiniOS. We got a straw poll about it, and I imagine we'll probably do a community free pour since I see Ben in here and Ricky. So we'll probably do that. But first, we're doing Linux and tech.
We do that, Nate. We actually had that planned.
Oh, okay, good. So I just want to say sorry about last week. I don't like to tell people personal issues, but I'd received a bug that was made it impossible for me to do the show. So a sickness. I had a security vulnerability, a personal one, and I had to work it out. So it would have been unpleasant for everybody, especially me. So that's why there's no show last week. But with all the information out there, I don't want people keeping medical records on me. That freaks me out now. I don't know. Does that make me crazy? Tinfoil hatty? Probably. All right. So what do we do in Linux and tech? I just wanted to, it's kind of more of a discussion here as opposed to just me talking about stuff. But I think we talked about Kubernetes for just a moment right before the show was starting. And I was, one of the things I've done at work with my push is getting away from VMware as those licenses expire and moving everything to SUSE virtualization platform, or Harvester is essentially what it is, which is a combination of something called Longhorn for storage, Rancher for the management piece of it, I guess. And it's a Kubernetes platform that does virtualization. So it's pretty cool. It's a high availability cluster. It's got 3 nodes in it. They're pretty high powered as far as compute loads can go. And it's been fun. It's been fun dealing with it. Actually, I did have a hiccup back in September with it, which got all that worked out. But one of the problems that I ran into with it is because I feel like Kubernetes, it's a lot more complicated of a system. Harvest is a lot more complicated, a lot more parts and pieces in it. It does a lot of self-healing, or at the same time can cause itself a lot of problems because injuries can be abscess wounds, I suppose. Anyway, so we had some issues with the way our security was, the way we had segregated some things off, and we weren't getting updates properly. So we were actually on an end-of-life version. I wasn't paying close enough attention to it. I thought it was fine because I was told the upgrade button would show up when it was ready, but it wasn't. And worked everything out back in November, and then started pulling updates, but we were running an end-of-life version. So I got to about 1.3.4 or 0.2 or something like that. Then I moved it to 1.4.0, and then that went end-of-life on November 27th. And then I had to jump through 3 more upgrades before I could get to a current one. And I was going to do them 1 week at a time, kind of let them burn in for a while. But when doing all the pre-checks and everything else, everything was showing green across the board, and I thought, I'm going to go ahead and just push it a little bit more aggressively. And no problems. Everything upgraded nicely. No disruption. Nobody knew I was doing this except for my boss, who I just inform, whenever I do things like this. He's in charge of the IT and OT sides of multiple organizations. So anyway, everything went great today. It took about 6 hours from the time I started to the time it finished. And so now I'm finally on a supported version. And I think that the whole Kubernetes platform for doing virtualizations is very interesting. And I don't know, does anybody here, have they played around with that at all? I'm sure, Adam, you've been one to do that.
Yep. Yeah, our company's moving over to OpenShift Virt.
So how do you feel that is compared to something like a VMware, or just doing something like just straight KVM? Like, do you really feel like that's the future of virtualization because of the high availability capabilities and whatnot, the load balancing and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, just the distributed part of it is really handy. Also, just I prefer things like OpenShift operators and such, as opposed to working with the VMware APIs. But that's more of a personal preference. Like, I think people who have experience with VMware more might not prefer that way. But it generally works well with a lot of IAC tools, as opposed to something like VMware, which has existed long before IAC and configuration management and all that was the standard, right? So I think it's more around the tooling that I prefer than necessarily the technology.
Okay. I'm not sure if I just prefer it because I know it's open source, and that if there's so much information out there that if I have problems, like there's not like this paywall barrier to solve these problems. There's a lot of community engagement
absolutely.
in it. And that's
The
probably
lack of Broadcom is awesome.
The lack of Broadcom is awesome. In fact, that's probably the key selling feature, I would say, right there.
Yeah.
Like, I take a ham sandwich as my virtualization platform over
Broadcom. Yeah.
Broadcom.
For sure.
It has less uplifts. The ham sandwich is reasonable with its uplifts, at least.
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and if it gets a little toasty, then it's even better. So, anyway, so it's something got him right. It's been fun learning a lot of this, having problems and kind of working my way through them. I think what's also very interesting to me is how, if there are issues that do crop up, there are ways to manipulate the system to get things back going again. Like, it's not all I can do is reboot it. There's a lot of workarounds or ways you can poke the system to like, if it is I don't know what that stands for. There's PVCs. I don't know if OpenShift is the same thing, how it uses these for like volume management and whatnot, and it uses to spread the and I'm probably screwing up all the terminology here because I'm a numpty, but how it uses it to have like keep multiple copies of your data and be able to like go to one source to get the multiple copies or whatever, and then make sure they're all synchronized. It's actually, anyway, regardless, it's pretty cool. And the fact that I could do a full upgrade on the stack, the whole thing, migrate these systems, with the whatever magic it uses in the back end to upgrade the underlying architecture and then move things back over, and then it still works. To me, that's amazing. I don't. Do you find that, Adam? Like that seems like just super cool. Like this even works.
Yeah, I think if you have a really integrated product like that, then it does feel pretty awesome. However, we have storage from other vendors and compute from other vendors, so I don't get all that integration that I would love.
Oh, okay. What about you, Zach?
But yeah, it'd be super useful.
Yeah. Zach, have you played around with such things, or am I the only guy?
You're more mature in that part than me. I'm kind of in this weird thing where I'm trying to go a mile wide and a mile deep at the same time. So I've set up a home lab, set up a hypervisor, and started my like DevOps journey of like building my first pipeline, starting to like understand some of the foundations as well of like Ingress, all while also like contributing to like open source over the course of like the last 3 months. So it was a very slippery slope for me. It was like I've been using Ubuntu since like my middle school era, when it was a more painful process. And then I was like, you know what, let me like get back into this. And I was like, okay, let me start listening to my favorite Linux podcast again. And then boom, I like blink 2 months later, and here I am with a lot more on the plate. But it's on my short list. I'm actually thinking about changing my whole home lab setup to like a mutable OS and like using like YAML configs and whatnot to just sort of predefine everything I'm trying to do, and just booting new versions instead of doing one update at a time or messing around with single components. Just loading clean builds.
So it hurt a little bit when you said you did Ubuntu in middle school. How you feeling, Dale?
Yeah, my ThinkPad.
People here are old.
No, it's all good. Yeah, I'm probably one of the younger folks, and I'm used to that. But it was like my first ThinkPad. That was the weight of someone's entire school book bag today, and it was like,
that's good stuff.
Okay, I can either go to Windows 10, or I can look at something else to do with this computer. And at that point, I'd have to mess around with the configs in Windows 10, command line or a special boot of it. And at that point, it's like, if I'm messing around with ISOs, I might as well just go the Linux route at this point.
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, so I guess what I was gonna kind of get all that was, there's Linux desktop, Linux servers and whatnot, but moving on to some of this high availability computing stuff, it's a lot of fun. If you can grab some, I think the minimum memory requirement per node is like 64 gig for Harvester. It's got really high overhead on there. But
it's a lot of money now.
It is a lot of money now. Well, that's because I think that it's kind of a scam. But anyway, that aside, that rotten AI things are destroying our lives. So it's a lot of fun if you can do it even with some older hardware. I think it's a lot of fun to play with. And
I have the overhead from the hardware perspective. I have like 9 mini PCs that each have 16 gigs of RAM and 512 gig SSDs. So with Gen 10 i5s, so I think the overhead is there to get into some more high availability setups.
Yeah, and I think you won't regret it. I think if you start playing with that stuff, you're gonna have fun. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Do you have a suggestion there as far as like the first steps to take for someone like I just described to get into a high availability setup in their home lab?
Well, I only have played with one, but there's basically, I think, the two that I know of, OpenShift and Harvester. I know Harvester's free to download and install, and it's really easy to get going with it. If you just have 3 machines with, and you have to have multiple NICs on each. But if you have 3, it's like at least 2 NICs on each.
Yeah, I have. I bought the USB to RJ45 converter, so I have dual NIC on each node as well.
So I would play with that. I don't know how stable it's going to be, because I think they do prefer you have like 10 gigabit SFP connectors.
Oh,
Or
then
whatever.
yeah, that's going to
But
be a bottleneck. I've been able to route like, subnet traffic and VLANs.
it'll work though. I know it'll work. So you still won't get the some of the replication stuff will have a hard time, but outside that you'll be fine. It's definitely worth playing with. Check it out, download it, and see if you can get it set up. It really was very easy to set up. I set up the first one. I did some just when you set the first node up, you just kind of define that's called like the VIP addresses. I don't even know what it stands for, but it's basically where I
Virtual
log
IP.
into virtual IP. Okay, there we go. Virtual IP. That the cluster you access the cluster from, or from which you access the cluster, to use proper English. And there, it seems like that's where they sort of all talk, and then you can add more nodes if you run out of compute power or storage or whatever else, and that's pretty cool too. So I don't know. It's a really neat thing, and we're going to be incorporating it into another plant on the production side. So it'll have to be air gapped, which would be a whole new set of exciting challenges to have an air gapped high availability cluster, because it looks like the updates for that are a bit of a pain, but well documented. So anyway, it's good times. Alrighty. Well, if you have not yet done the straw poll, please do so. I don't know if I can throw the straw poll out there again.
Nate,
pick that up.
funny enough,
Yes.
I'm actually going to have to do a high availability air gapped system for one of the open source projects that I'm working on.
Nice. Is it something secret squirrel, or can you talk about it?
Yeah, I can give you the high level, and then you can chat more offline. But essentially, I'm honestly hesitant because you guys shared your opinion already on AI, and I'm an AI innovator, so
Fine.
it's AI related, but it's actually the AI security side of things. It's running, it's a fork of one of my colleagues here at CyberArk. He created like a proof of concept repo where he was showing how our open source Conjure, which deals with like secret vaulting and auto injection to avoid hard coded secrets, interfaces with Protect AI from Palo's LLM guard for like kind of like a de facto open source WAF for your agents and the backend architecture, like as the traffic is going through the MCP servers and to and from the clients and the agents themselves, sort of filtering all of that and adding more privilege and access controls to refine essentially what the agents have access to and what they can share as well.
Just to be clear,
And what I'm doing
I use
is
AI,
forking that. Cool.
and I'm not like anti AI. I just don't like some of the. I think the
Technology is great.
VC
The marketing is awful. Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, the implications of it are not talked about as like from a like blue teaming perspective, So I'm trying to help with the development of good AI, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another architectural model that includes a high availability cluster, and I'm going to air gap it, and I'm going to show how you would do that with further open source projects to do like more of the workload identities. And now that you have these other aspects of the architecture covered, creating dynamic workloads obviously has implications on the architecture and the security. So just building that out is the open source project that I'm going to be forking.
I think open source is the way to save AI from being this awful thing, and I think from a I'm concerned about it from an environmental impact perspective. Not that that's like my key concern, but the fact that others in Pennsylvania, they rather than stand back up this aluminum plant, they're putting in a big giant AI cube instead, and things like that just kind of concern me a little bit. I'm concerned about the manipulation aspects that they could use for AI, but I think having it open sourced is more likely a less dystopian future. That's essentially where I come from on that. So I'm just hoping it's more Star Trek and less Skynet. That's really where I'm coming from on that.
Less the expanse.
Yes, less the Expanse. Although Expanse is it's a pretty cool series, so I don't want to be too disparaging on that. But anyway, well, I suppose we should go ahead and move on to our micro OS StrawPoll. Try and keep it going here. All right, we are 24 minutes into this. I write this down because people care. All right, so describe your experience with MiniOS. Let's see, the StrawPoll. Got one bit of feedback. It says, honestly, it seems less of a daily driver distro and more of a tool. I found installing it that it tended to like being used like a toolbox with tools on it, very much like MX Linux in that regard. Otherwise, it seems clean and lightweight. Yeah, I'd say it's pretty accurate. Does anybody have any feedback on MiniOS? Good? No? Okay. All right, so from the StrawPoll, number 1, it's okay. Number 2, didn't have enough time, busy with life, busy with work. In third place is it's good. Fourth place, Tux Penguin. Fifth place, not interested. 6, did not have a good time with it. And it's amazing, got 0 votes, or not interested. So, okay. Yeah, I thought it was good overall. I think I agree with that statement about it's like a toolbox. And I can get into that in a little bit, as we progress here. But so let's go ahead and get to the exploration rules. Now, if you didn't do MiniOS, that means it's you can just ask questions and whatever. So the intent is to talk about the different aspects of the operating system and discuss the experience from using it. This is a discussion that should be objective, constructive, not objective opinions like it's garbage, I hate it, isn't really particularly useful. But if you have wishes for a feature that would make it more useful, that's really what we want to get to. We want to highlight the positives, but not necessarily ignore the lowlights, because this is a labor of love for somebody. We don't want to poo-poo on their project. So a little bit about MiniOS. It's your pocket Linux, which links to that comment that it's like a tool, like a toolkit on a live USB. Powerful, stylish, and convenient. Imagine all the power and freedom of a desktop Linux that is always at your fingertips, literally in your pocket. MiniOS is a special Debian-based distribution created for those who value mobility, speed, and flawless operation without unnecessary hassle. Work anywhere from any USB drive. Just write MiniOS to a flash drive, plug it into a computer, and your full working environment is ready. No installation, no binding to a single device. Take your files, settings, and favorite programs with you. Forget to save your settings, MiniOS will do it for you. The system carefully saves your data, personal settings, and installed programs directly to the flash drive every time you start MiniOS. Everything will be just as you left it the last time. Reliability and predictability on any computer. I don't know about any. So it has a smart design philosophy. So it says exquisite design and pleasing speed. We prove the performance does not have to sacrifice beauty and convenience. MiniOS features a meticulously crafted design, a modern, intuitive interface. It works incredibly fast, even on the most modest computers, helping you to focus on your tasks instead of waiting. Philosophy of simplicity and meaning. Every component in MiniOS exists for an important reason. Nothing superfluous, only what you really need for comfortable and efficient work. This is not a reduced functionality or bloated software package, but the perfect balance created for your convenience. So the core capabilities are it's portability, persistent storage, modular architecture, universal compatibility. It has 3 editions, a standard, toolbox, and ultra. I did the toolbox. It has its Debian foundation, so there's a lot of repositories there. So ideal use cases would be like for system recovery, so rescue unbootable systems and recover data, mobile workstation, carry a complete desktop environment everywhere, anywhere. Development and testing, isolated environment for coding and experiments, education and training, embedded development, and security and privacy. Leave no trace on the host system. So that's kind of the rundown. I could pull that from the website. So for installation, anybody here install it? Because I didn't. I just ran it kind of like it said as a toolbox.
Yeah, I did. I installed it. The interesting thing I thought about this distribution is that it would be perfect for an older machine with less resources, obviously. But one thing that it does seem to do very well, it runs very nice in a VM environment. I have to run a lot of different distributions to test things.
Uh-huh.
And so it's kind of nice to come across one that behaves and runs without being very laggy in a VM environment. So I'll give it kudos on that. The one, I wouldn't call it a negative thing. It was just kind of a unexpected. It was kind of, I had to kind of go look for the installer.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in the menu, but I would have thought they would have made that a little more obvious, like on the desktop, you know. But given how they view it as being used, I guess it makes sense. So.
Yeah, that I also thought was, I kind of expected to have the installer right on the desktop, like a lot of distributions do that, but this did not. And I mean, fine, whatever. I just decided to, just use it like kind of like it said as a toolbox, just to kind of see what tools are available. I didn't use it to try and recover any systems. I didn't have anything broken necessarily. I would say this is probably, the intent is probably not to use this for anything like Office task related necessarily. So there's no real Office applications on there besides PDF reader. But if you have to remote into something, you have Romana built into it. As Wireshark has a VNC server. So there's a lot of things built into it that I thought was really useful in that regard. As VS Codium too. So I guess if you want to do that, it seems like you'd have to, I don't know, like connect some sort of remote file share or something to be able to effectively utilize it. I don't know. I was just kind of thinking that sort of, but yeah, I thought it was interesting in that regard.
Yeah.
Its build. So
one other thing too, and you probably noticed this too, is when you boot, you can actually recover your last session if you're like running on the USB stick.
Mm-hmm.
It actually saves your sessions out there.
So in this question in the chat is, does this have any forensic software? I don't know. What would you classify as forensic software, 01? 4047? I mean, I think maybe the closest thing, I don't even know, actually I don't even know, but it has CloneZilla on there, it has BleachBit, Android file transfer, has Gparted, yeah, but I don't know if there's really anything particular forensic. I guess like, what would you be looking for? What do you be looking for? I guess would be my question of that. Yeah. So, I'm sorry. You're I don't know if I have to interrupt you, Mike.
That's okay. I think I guess my final kind of thought on it is, from my perspective, if you have some old hardware, like an old laptop, that maybe you want to run the browser and email on, this is probably a good OS to run it on, because it's very resource conservative. So
mm-hmm. It does seem like this would be a good contender for this or antiX for a tool on a USB drive. That's something I necessarily use all the time, but if I have to get into something or maybe try and recover a bootloader or something like that, I don't know if I could use it to access Windows shares that are encrypted necessarily. So from like a machine. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. It comes with Linux kernel 6.12.57 for those keeping track in the cheap seats. And Cody, aka Lamer, nice to see you. Hello to you. I know that's kind of how I viewed it. Did you find the interface was far too polished looking to, like, did it seem like unusually polished to you?
not really.
Okay,
I
maybe that
mean,
was just me.
I mean, it was fine. There was nothing wrong with it that but I guess using other distros, you kind of get a feel for what to expect in one. And I think you're right. I think for like an aid to recover a machine or recover files off a drive or whatever, fix the boot area, uh, that's probably a good one to keep because what I liked about it, one thing I did like about it was that feature where you could save your sessions even on the USB drive. So it would actually save that session that you had, and you could go back into it after you reboot. So if you had several apps open, they would just open. So
I didn't see a way to customize the desktop. Maybe I just missed it. But the so I guess what I was sort of getting at with that is, in my mind, thinking like a low resource desktop environment, I was expecting something more IceWM and a little bit less,
yeah,
super nice XFCE polish. That I guess that's in my mind what I was thinking when I read the description of it and thinking, oh, okay, all right, this is what I was expecting, and it was like, oh, this is very nice. This is not like a Spartan apartment with old paint on the walls sort of thing. It felt fresh and nice, I guess, is kind of what I'm getting at with that.
Yeah. I was just amazed. I mean, and I don't know why this amazed me so much, but I mean, I literally have about 15 different distributions loaded in VirtualBox, and I pretty much give them all the same resources.
Mm-hmm.
And this one just seems to run faster. I mean, and I'm sure that's all about the resources, the lower resources it's using. But that was, to me, that was pretty impressive. So
yeah, I got you. It doesn't have NeoFetch installed. I just thought about that just now, so I can't even do that little fun thing. Does it have fetch? No, it doesn't have fetch either. So no fun little graphic. I'm sure you can install it though. So I thought as a toolbox that was pretty great. I like that. I'm definitely going to keep it around on a thumb drive. I think that's what, along with antiX, basically in my computer bag. That's where it's going to sit for me at this point. Was there anything that you didn't like about it? If you tried it, those that tried it, or you just didn't really care for? Did bleach bit on there offend you? That had a bleach bit. I'm just kidding.
I ran the MiniOS Standard Edition.
Okay.
And there's nothing in it really. There's hardly anything in this.
Yeah, it's pretty light.
It is so lightweight and so minimal. I kind of think that kind of takes back on it. I mean, we're Linux nerds. I got no issue installing stuff. I know what to put in it. If you don't know, you're going to have a lot of trouble. There was so few things in it. The firewall is not even installed.
Yeah, I guess that would be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying that, if you don't know, if you get like, say, antiX or MX Linux, that's already done for you. You don't have to sit here and try to guess.
I see it. So I guess that's probably good. That's a low light then, probably the lack of configured firewall.
Right. But if you're running it in a VM like Mike is, and it runs like lightning, why would you even care?
That's also a good point, yeah.
I mean, you see, there's pluses and minuses to everything in life.
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't have a graphical. I mean, I can use APT obviously, but it didn't have a graphical installer either. I don't think.
Right. Yeah.
Application installer, which was kind of odd.
Yeah, it had no splash screen in the beginning. Welcome to this OS, and if you're looking for this kind of software, blah 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 blah. There's nothing here.
I think I'm going to do what Nate talked about. I think I'm just going to install it on, or keep the flash drive and just put it in my laptop bag if I ever need it.
Yeah.
To recover something. So.
Well, it's built on Trixie. I did install FastFetch just now. So there you go. Trixie.
But I mean, I think for what it is, it's fine, you know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't want to have to use it every day, but you know, I would use it occasionally if I had to.
Right.
I find it surprising a lot of distributions don't have firewalls enabled by default. Honestly.
Well, this one isn't installed. Like I go into the settings in XFCE, there is no firewall. If I type in firewall to turn it on, I get that you didn't do it by default, but it ain't here.
I wonder if the larger version of it, the bigger,
yeah,
one,
yeah.
I wonder if that has a firewall built into it instead. Like maybe it's just not a feature most people care about. It seems like people should care about that though. What was it?
I also noticed there was no like MD5 sum when I downloaded it. There was no checksum to make sure I got the right thing that I could find. I'm more asking, did you guys find one?
You know, I didn't even look.
Neither did I.
Oh, see, I kind of always do. Ever since I downloaded a couple of distros that just don't work.
I wonder why that is. Maybe it's hard to build those. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I want to copy the straw poll again here for Stephen Anderson.
Also, I thought it was interesting. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but they have Firefox as the browser, but it's like if you look in the menu and you're looking for Firefox, you won't find it.
No, you just see web browser.
Yeah, it just says web browser.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Which was interesting.
So 01 says, well, he says he agrees with me. Firewall should be on new installs. Fedora and OpenSUSE seem to have it right, but they use Firewall D, and I prefer UFW. Firewall D is fine. UFW is fine. I guess. I think Firewall D has maybe too many knobs you can turn. A little bit less approachable than UFW. I would say maybe. And Sean says, "Evening all." Good evening, Sean. Hope you're having a splendid first day. Does anybody know why there's numbers tacked in everybody's usernames now in YouTube?
No, they did something with their login names, and they changed everybody's over to whatever was on some other default setting in there.
It's not everybody. Like
well, some people's might have been the same. Because my name wasn't Matt. My name didn't match.
Like Sean just used to be Sean. Now it's Sean6417. And then, but Prophetic 777, his is still Prophetic 777. No additional numbers. Right. I'm still keep. Oh, is it because like there might be repeat names like that, and so?
Yeah, something happened.
Oh, okay. Yeah, nobody would choose Cubicle Nate because that's such a stupid name. So.
I'm going to name my next dog Cubicle Nate.
Oh, so it's going to be like a sad little puppy? You sad, pathetic puppy. Oops. All right, so yeah, it's the low light, probably like a configured firewall. I like how small it is. I think that's pretty cool. Daniel Yant says CSF makes working with firewalls easy, and it's FOSS. Firewalls with IP tables and NFT tables can cause some craziness. CSF does it best to deal with the mix. What is CSF? Anyone know what that is? Does he know what that is? Sean says, you caught me. I cloned myself 6,416 times. I believe it. He's everywhere. It's more work done that way too. I've never seen
Config
stuff.
Server Security and Firewall is the name of it.
Oh, okay. CSF just makes me laugh a little bit, but I'll have to tell you why that offline. Okay. I've never heard of it until just now.
Me either. I was just looking it up.
I'd say outside of everything else, I think MiniOS seems like a nice, small, easy to use Debian. I think it's a great like, hey, try Debian out on your old thing. That might be
I agree.
a nice little thing. I don't think I would use it for like a daily driver. I'm pretty entrenched with my tumbleweed of the OpenSUSE variety, so I kind of, I don't know, I feel spoiled at that point. So, yeah.
I would envision a lot of mouse banging if I tried to use it as a daily driver. So.
Why do you say mouse banging?
Just the frustration of having to go install something to make something work. So,
Oh. I got you.
like Firewall.
I got you.
But I think it'd be great on an old laptop. You know, I think it would run really, really well.
I think that'd be a fun experiment to see how well it would run on like an old netbook. To me, that seems like a good experiment. It's probably fun to try out. Steve Anderson says, "I've been using Bazite lately. It's really nice for gaming." Yeah, I agree. So, very nice for gaming. I have it on a little handheld, so it works great. I have a noisy phone over here. Gotta shut it off. Do not disturb. Right, we're good. Okay, so any other final thoughts on MiniOS before we move on? Was it at least a kind of fun exploration if you played with it? Kind of? Sort of?
Sure.
Sure.
It's always interesting to try something new, you know?
Yeah. Wish it would just come with a dark mode initially, just out of the gate. That'd be my only complaint right there. So, all right. Let's go ahead and do hop into the housekeeping, where we'll do some other discussion things here. Lots of stuff to talk about, I'm sure. Oops, no, that's a 0. All right, so for next week, we're going to have a news flight night. So anything topics, any spiffy news topics, go ahead and share those. You can share them ahead of time if you come a little, if you don't want to put them on in Telegram, you can just fire them off and actually right before we start here, or in the Discord or wherever. Tag myself or Eris, and one of us will get to it. Probably Eris, probably not me. I'll be working on the Linux Saloon calendar for the rest of the year. I think I haven't really figured things out totally yet. We'll probably have probably go right to the end of the year, I think. We'll see how it goes. I have to figure out. There's some. I have to look at the schedule. If you have any suggestions for anything, whether it's discussion suggestions, distribution suggestions, application appetizer, if you think we should try a specific application, I'd love to hear that. Feel free to send it to suggestions@linuxsaloon.com or tag it in the Discord or Telegram, whatever. Also, if you have any poll ideas, anything like things, fun discussion, icebreakers, as it were, that'd be great too. So you can send those to suggestions@linuxsaloon.com or Discord, Telegram, whichever. Tag it on if you tag me like on the Twitters, that's pretty much the only social media I use at this point. So, all right. Did we have any interesting feedback? Not really. Okay. All right. So here's some interesting AI discussion. I think I'm just going to go ahead and bring this up here since we kind of sort of touched on the AI thing, so it'd be interesting to get some thoughts on this. So there's an article here on EFF.org, but they're saying, victory, California requires transparency for AI police reports. Put that here in the chat. So California governor has signed SB 524, a bill that begins the long process of regulating and imposing transparency on the growing problem of AI-written police reports. They spent the last year, EFF supported this bill and has spent the last year vocally criticizing the companies pushing AI-generated police reports as a service. So SB 524 requires police to disclose on the report if it was used fully or in part to author a police report. Further, it bans vendors from selling or sharing the information a police agency provides to the AI. The bill is also significant because it required departments to retain the first draft report so that the judge, defense attorney, or auditors could readily see which portion of the final report was written by the officer and which portion were written by the computer. This creates a major problem for police who use the most popular product in the space, so I think Axion's Draft 1. But by design, Draft 1 does not retain an edit log of who wrote what. Now to stay in compliance with the law, police departments will either need Axon to change their product, or officers will need to take it upon themselves to go retrain evidence of what the draft of the report looked like, or police can drop Axon's Draft 1 altogether. CFO will continue to monitor this with the state law. So after Utah, California became the second state to pass legislation that begins to address the problem, because lack of transparency surrounding how police departments buy and deploy technology. It's often hard to know if police departments are using AI to write reports, how the generative AI chooses to translate audio into a narrative, and which portions of reports are written by AI and which parts are written by officers. So AF has a guide on this as well. So what do you think of, does it concern you that, I guess with all that information out there on somebody, having AI write the report, does that seem concerning to anybody? I'm like, was this high on your list? I mean, I wear a tinfoil hat, so everything concerns me. This, I don't know if Zach, I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
Yeah, this one is definitely a very sensitive use case. I would say the governance and compliance aspects would be highlighted. Anything legal, especially police reports. But with all that being said, it's natural for the cops to be using this type of technology if every other industry is also using it to, write their emails and so forth.
Do you think we get to the point where we're so lazy that we're just like, we're going to have bots do everything for us, and then it'll just be like bots talking to bots?
Yeah, 100%. And we've already unleashed Pandora's box, unfortunately. It's no going back. What do you think?
So, I don't know what I think, honestly. I think on one hand, I see it as very useful. But on the other hand, like, there's something I just want to do myself. Like, I like to write my own emails. I like to, maybe I'll use it to jog for some ideas. Can you give me some bullet points based on this? And then I'll take those bullet points and turn it into something useful. I'll do that. But I don't know that I really, I don't know. I just don't, sometimes it's just not accurate. Or just, you can't really, or the information's maybe just, it's, like I've had to help me write some things, but like I go through like, well, I don't really like it, so I will edit it and then change some wording or make things more factually correct based on the actual information. So I'll use it for like maybe idea generation to kind of give me maybe like if I have a writer's block. But if I don't have writer's block, I don't have any reason to use it, I guess. Maybe just because I'm old. I don't know. Is that
but even like search engines nowadays, if you're using Google or Bing or any other, search engine, or just typing into a browser, let alone the AI browsers now, and even Grammarly and other more traditional tools. Like that's still kind of AI in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean it is. But in that case, we've been using some form of AI now for like 20 years. Just not
Agreed.
as. Because, I mean, search engines have a form of intelligence that are ranking through some sort of algorithmic means what is a better source of information to answer your question.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I mean, then that gets into a whole machine learning conversation and the different types of things. But like neural networks are definitely a large advancement.
yeah. I think the other thing too is it costs a lot of money to run these data centers. So unless if they actually monetize it, I don't know that it's really going to have long-term legs, as it were. So like
Mm,
right now, Microsoft is doing a lot to try and monetize their AI offerings, which are,
yeah.
in my opinion, not very good. And
Which ones have you used?
um, so I've used Llama, Grok, ChatGPT, and then
Hmm.
Copilot. I think before it was using ChatGPT, or maybe the early on. And so
Yeah.
those are what I have used. And I would say probably I prefer Llama because I can keep it local of all of them, and then I feel like I have a little more control over it. And it's slower,
Hmm.
but it does what I need it to do well enough. And then I think Grok is pretty decent too. I think it's got a little more. I feel like it's a little more grounded. Not always. Sometimes I think it's really stupid.
They just released a new one, the 4.1 for Grok. But yeah, Copilot has a few other ones as well. Like they have in GitHub, they have Copilot now, and there's Copilot Studio and the whole Power Suite that now uses AI. Um, it's gotten a lot better, but I agree, it's definitely not the best one out there. I'm curious if anyone here has used Google's new Gemini 3. I hear good things, but I personally haven't got my hands on it yet.
I have used Gemini 3. It is actually very good.
I hear it's way better
Very
than what
good.
they launched with. Like if you look at that 2 years ago and you look
Yeah,
at this, it's like night and day. Like
it's
how'd they
pretty
get there?
rapid how fast
Yeah.
they've improved. Yeah,
And
I
they,
felt like 2.5 wasn't really that big of a jump over 2,
yeah.
but 3 is a pretty big jump.
And they also forked a VS Codium of their own
Yeah,
and called it, I think,
anti-gravity.
anti-gravity. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm curious to hear about that. It's like free and apparently offers a lot of features that
I had just
are paid.
downloaded that like an hour before we jumped in here, so I'll
Nice.
let you know. But
Yeah. Let me know, Adam.
yeah, the Gemini CLI also was kind of a mixed bag compared to like Claude Code or
Cloud
Codex,
Coach
like just the
or
way it
Codex.
used.
Yeah.
But
Mm.
I think maybe with Gemini 3, it's probably a competitive. I haven't gotten a chance to really bang my head against it, so but Gemini 3 is definitely a solid model.
I haven't tried Gemini. Uh, hasn't come up. I guess.
I think Google has a really good like value offering when it comes to their AI plans for people too. Like I think they offer a lot of extra stuff beyond just the AI access.
I actually prefer Gemini.
Well, I think that if these companies can't make money off of the I don't think it's gonna continue its same rapid expansion. And I think right now they're trying to get everyone like the taste of it and so forth. But it's gonna stop being free here pretty soon, I think. And except for I think if you run it locally yourself. So I don't know. I don't really like concerned about it. I think yeah, it is certainly a Pandora's box, for sure. But I don't know how. I guess I'm not really sure how concerned I am long term. Does that make any sense, or am I kind of? Do you think I'm out in cloud cuckoo land on this one?
No, I get you. Yeah,
I agree with that part
we've
of it. I
seen
think
we've
that
seen
goes
these
into
things
the
happen, right?
financials, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't want the government making a decision about me via AI. That's what I don't want. I want a person to do that because
Well, they're
go
already
ahead.
doing that though,
Well, I know,
Plantier, right? Like all the AI that they use with the contractors.
yeah,
Unfortunately.
but what I'm talking about is like police reports. Okay,
Hmm.
when someone, I mean, that could easily be misinterpreted based on, how that report's put together. And I don't want that to happen. That's just, that's someone's life or their livelihood. And you're putting a not 100% cognitive thing to report things that it may or may not know about in certain situations. And so, I use AI every day. Don't get me wrong, but I just don't want those kind of interactions to take place. In my personal opinion.
Well, I agree. I think any organization that has a monopoly on violence, I don't really want them using machines to make decisions for me, about me, I should say.
I agree too, but just to play devil's advocate here,
Sure.
I would say that the only way to really control it once the Pandora's box has been opened, and independent officers can go to any website that we've just talked about, to access any model that they like and have someone's personal information, sprawl the internet through that aspect. That's already there. Like anyone can, any officer, even though they shouldn't do that, could theoretically do that, right? So the only way to fight something like that would be with like a quote unquote better AI alternative that's governed and has compliance and make sure that nobody's data is leaking onto the public internet, and et cetera, exists. So while I'm not a fan of it either way, if we acknowledge that the officers could be doing that alternative today and that there's no way to really govern or comply, anything there, how do you solve for that would be my question.
Yeah. I'm more concerned about we get to the point where AI is using body cams to write reports, that kind of stuff. The audio and the video from a body cam to generate a report. That's the stuff that, to me, is just... I'm old, and it scares the heck out of me, to be honest with you, to think about that. So, what could possibly happen there?
I guess the real question here is, like, when you're using AI to generate police reports and generate things, who's responsible, right?
Right.
Like, if the AI, the thing about the body cam footage, like the police officer could write a false report, they could just lie about the footage or whatever, right? But then there are consequences for them if they do that. But if you have computerized systems writing emails, writing reports, doing these things, who's ultimately responsible?
Right.
Whoever approves that, whoever sets that up, I think humans have to. You can't. I think having AI agents that work without the approval of a human, basically, I think that should be absolutely. It should be no. It should have no legal weight whatsoever, none.
And then we have the AIs reviewing the AIs, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's turtles all the way down, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's got to be reviewed by humans. If you have an AI do everything, then basically you have the AI doing nothing. Is what I'm concerned. Is what I think, and that's the way it has to be treated. And how you exactly solve for that, I'm not 100% sure. But I do think that then if it's a report that's written by an AI, but yet the officer did not have any input on it or whatever, or the officer passed it off as his own, then the officer is responsible for any of the inaccuracies. But truly, police officers have been lying in reports now for, forever. So I'm not really concerned about.
So was it really
that aspect of it? Doesn't make a difference.
It's a self-driving car thing too, right? Like, if a self-driving car wrecks, whose fault is it?
Well, it's the person. I believe it's the person who put it into that mode of self-driving. You're responsible. If you are in that vehicle, you're responsible for that vehicle and all of its actions. If I'm driving a vehicle and I don't take care of it, and I'm driving 70 miles an hour and the wheel passes me up, it's my responsibility. It's not the car's fault.
Yeah, but what about a
Am I the only one who loves those videos when I see like a wheel passing people? Sorry.
No, I think those are hilarious. That's what I was thinking. So I'm sorry.
what What about the self-driving taxis? I mean, who's responsible there? The company?
This should be the company, yeah.
Yeah, it should be the company, yeah. Because they're the ones that put it in motion. I don't know. I think with new technology, they're all disruptive. I really believe that it'll find its own level, as long as it's not. Once the venture capital investments have dried up, which they will, then it will find its own level, and then that will be the true form of what we get. We'll probably have some form of local AIs, but I think these giant data centers that are using all this massive amounts of energy that our grid can't handle already, raising the electric prices, I think a lot of those will shut down. And then the positive is, think about, Zach, all that cheap hardware you're going to be able to buy here in just a few years from these data centers liquidating their assets. Pretty exciting,
I can't wait.
That's what I'm
wait
looking
for
forward
that
to.
part, for sure. And I think that's a very interesting conversation to have as well, Nate. Like, it's a tangent probably for another time, but like the financial implications of all the data centers and the AI and how the companies sort of funnel the funds back and forth between the graphics card companies, the LLM companies, and so forth. It's very fascinating.
5 years ago, it was Bitcoin or different cryptocurrency that all the money is going to that. And then 2 years ago, we had a flood of used up graphic cards all over eBay, and so we're just gonna have something very similar happen again. I really don't think it's gonna be. It's gonna have to run its course. That's gonna have to happen, I think.
So speaking of AI, did you guys see that article about Sam Altman calling like a code red on ChatGPT?
No.
Basically telling all the employees to quit working on side projects and get back on the main core project.
No more side quests, huh?
Yeah. Let me put this in the chat here, and you can post it if you want. Because they've fallen behind the other ones a little bit, so he's nervous now.
Hello. Oh.
I didn't. Yeah. Daniel Yount says RAM went to AI because money is an AI, not RAM. Yeah.
A large fries. And else, sir? That's it.
What was that, Swift?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no worries. All right, so I have another, I don't know how interesting for you, article, but interesting for me only because I use this. So,
yes, please.
GIMP has announced official snap package for Ubuntu. Anybody here use GIMP, or am I just like the last holdout here that uses GIMP on a regular basis?
Yeah, I use it.
I think it's a fine piece of software.
I don't have a need for it, but I think GIMP 3 is actually a huge improvement.
I still use GIMP.
I think it works fine. So it's always been easy to install GIMP on Ubuntu. It's in the repos, but installing the latest stable release, well, that can be a lot easier with the GIMP snap, now officially maintained by GIMP itself. Or you thought it really was. GIMP, as many well-known apps on the Snap Store still are, was packaged by the Snap Crafters, a community-based team affiliated with Canonical who maintains unofficial packages denoted by a yellow star in the store listing. Now the Snap is officially maintained by GIMP, denoted by a gray tick in the store listing. The format is integrated in its continuous integration infrastructure, which means future updates to the app will be automatically generated and published on the Snap Store on the day of release. Anybody here using snaps on Ubuntu?
Yep.
I think snaps are fine. So are you gonna switch to the snap version of GIMP?
I don't even have a Ubuntu computer right now.
You do or do not?
Don't.
Oh, you don't. Okay, so you're not using snaps then, I'm guessing.
Even if I was using, Even if I was using Ubuntu, I would probably have purged snaps personally.
Yeah, I don't
I
understand
use Flatpak on all my Ubuntu VMs personally.
that. Okay.
Yeah. I'm about to load a new machine up, but the current versions of Ubuntu, you get snaps whether you want them or not, because a lot of the system parts of the system are built on that. So
That's true. And in the GUI like loader, as soon as you're installing your VM or your on bare metal, however you're installing, if you click on any of the options for software in the initial install, those are all going to be snapbacks as well. You keep that in mind.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind
Snaps
snaps.
are a lot better than they used to be.
People hate them so much. I mean, I don't
I've personally
get it.
come across experiences where the Snappak version of a software hasn't worked well for me,
Sure.
and uninstalling it and installing the Flatpak version has solved the issues. So
I've had exactly the opposite thing too. I've had them with flat packs and
interesting.
with snaps, both not work. So
That's with any packaging,
yeah, yeah.
I like keeping snaps. Like I use snaps on Tumbleweed, OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, only because sometimes if the system packages don't work well for me, and the Flatpak has got some weirdness to it, then I got the snaps to fall back to. So it's in my ranking. It's number, well, technically 4, but it depends on the application. So sometimes I prefer using the containerized application, like using a snap or a Flatpak, because I don't want to muck up my system with a bunch of different additional packaging. So I'll just separate it out, and to me that just makes like managing my own system just seems more sustainable long term. That's how I look at it.
If you even install Ubuntu server, you're installing snaps. I mean, it's part of the OS now. So.
Yeah. So I guess my thing is I don't really care so long as I get the software and the reliable experience that I like. As far as the implementation piece of it, whether it's an app image, snap, Flatpak, RPM, Deb, I don't really care as long as I have the cleanest experience possible. That's what it boils down to for me.
Same here. I'm the same way.
Yeah, and so it's a random irritation. I want to say irritation, but anyway, so I keep older app images around if some newer version breaks for me. Yep, that's exactly why I love app image. I think app image is great. I use app image launcher. Geary, I think, is another one. Is it Geary? If Jinda, you have to correct me on that one. I think it's Geary or Gearly. What is it? I don't know. But that's a great way for managing app images. So they just integrate right into your menu. Use that and open up an app image. It just loads right in. There's a couple applications that sometimes they just kind of come through a little bit crazy and so have to use an older version, and then the next version fixes it. So yeah, I like it for that reason. It's nice to manage that way too. Also, if you're into portability, it's really easy just to have all your app images on a drive or located somewhere. Then you can just load them up. I think it's pretty neat, but that's just me. So yeah, I think it's good that there's a snap of GIMP. I'm not anti-snap. I think snaps are fine. It's not my favorite, but I think they're absolutely fine. So.
Well, the big thing with snaps and Flatpaks is you're getting some isolation from the application,
right? Which
is a huge advantage on a system with a lot of software installed on it.
Exactly. I think there's something to be said for isolation because, I mean, anything can happen, right? So you almost kind of have to. I feel like if it's not a core system package, you almost kind of have to have that isolation anymore. I think for any semblance of security. But that's my opinion. I could be wrong. All right, some other exciting news. This is probably more up Mike's alley. So Rust Coreutils 0.3 release with some major speedups, better GNU compatibility. So from Phoronix, which seems to be like the place I get all my news from. So the Utils project announced release of Coreutils 0.3. It's another step forward for this Rust version alternative to GNU Coreutils that has been attracting a lot of interest lately due to Ubuntu 25.10 now using it by default. So Rust Coreutils 0.3 brings improved GNU test suite compatibility with now passing 532 tests, or nearly 84% pass rate. This has improved error handling and other updates to match the better behavior of GNU Coreutils, such as the recently noted the date we're breaking Ubuntu 25.10 unattended upgrades. So Rust Coreutils 3 also brings a number of performance improvements over GNU Coreutils. Rust is reporting its basics implementation is 1.2 times faster. Expand is 1.8 times faster. Unexpand is 1.5 times faster, and NL, not sure what that is 1.57 times faster. Sort is as much as 3.72 times faster. Fold is 1.17, and UNIQ unique is 1.13 times faster. So, I thought that was kind of wild because I thought the last time we read about this, the Rust was slower than GNU Core utilities, but now it's pulling ahead a lot faster. I'm a little skeptical of that, honestly, but I don't know. Mike, do you see this as kind of the Rust more or less pushing through the pushing C out of the way?
Well, that's what they like. I mean, definitely the I call them the Rust cult members. But Rust is a great language. I mean, there's nothing wrong with Rust. It's a fabulous language. It has a lot of great attributes about it. It's they would like to see it replace C, which I just don't see happening anytime soon. Basically, it's still kind of a moving target as far as maturity. They're still developing parts of Rust and tweaking them, to make the compiler better. But I don't know. Like, I don't see a problem having parts of like the OS written in Rust. I'm a little skeptical about replacing all the GNU utilities with Rust utilities when we have almost 50 years of testing and debugging on those apps already. To me, that's kind of a waste of time, in my opinion, but that's just my opinion.
Well, I think the argument there, not to play devil's advocate, but here we go. I think the argument there is because it is so old that maybe the code is just not efficient as it could be, and so that's why they're replacing it. Isn't that kind of what they're saying?
Well, that's what they're saying, but it's not true. I mean, your compiler is written to optimize the code for whatever processor you're trying to compile it to, or whatever type of processor you're trying to compile it to. And C, the big argument is that Rust is more memory safe than C, which is true. Okay, but there's already been cases, as you can see, that just because it's memory safe doesn't mean that means that every application written with it is going to be a better application. Look what happened to Cloudflare in November. That was because of a Rust program that had replaced a C program. And the developer, that wasn't Rust's fault, it was the developer's fault. And that's what I'm talking about, is we've got so much time I mean, it's very rare you see a security issue pop up on GNU utilities anymore. I mean, they do happen occasionally, but it's just, they're so solid. And to me, that whole project is just nothing more than a bunch of Rust cultists wanting to push their language. And I don't know. That's just, again, that's my opinion. So take it for what it's worth. So.
Yeah, I guess for me, is it change for the sake of change, or is it this is a better tool, so we'll use this instead? That for me, I don't really care if it's like I don't feel like I'm really invested in any particular solution. But I think that if Rust can do it more efficiently, the question is going to be why. You know, what is it that it's doing differently, and then can you make C better? That'd be a thing. I think for C to have competition is good. It's not going to go away.
Well, there's actually a library now that has been developed to solve the memory leak problem. Basically, it duplicates what Rust is doing, and I would imagine in the near future that'll be implemented into the language as a standard library. So,
right, probably will, and then because so that's, I guess for me, I like competition, and then changing to Rust for the sake of changing to Rust seems silly, but changing to Rust for a practical reason, for specific purposes, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Sean, Pascal or bust. I agree. There we go.
COBOL or bust.
You and I, we can go back to like 1991, and we can just go Pascal it up. How's that sound? It's a good year. Star Trek Next Generation was at its peak. And I was in the middle school, I think, or elementary. I don't know. Somewhere like that. All right. Good times. I don't know. So this is just a little, I guess, tangent on that, Sean. Let's say somebody wanted to get into programming right now. They want to play around. Where would you tell them to start?
Who?
Mike. I'm sorry. Sean is in the chat. Mike.
Well, I mean, it depends on what kind of programming you want to do. If you want to do system level programming, probably something like, I would just say regular old vanilla C. I mean, that's a good one to learn. I mean, it teaches you all the fundamentals of how a program works and how it uses memory, and hopefully teaches you not to have bad habits. But there's others. There's C#. That's a good language. There's a lot of interpreter-based languages like Python and PHP and Ruby, and you just name. There's a bunch of them. So those are good for application development. And then, of course, if you want to do web, you probably need to learn JavaScript, which is kind of the standard. So
Go is also quite popular.
I'm sorry, what?
Go is also quite popular.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go. Yeah, that's there's a whole class of languages out there that are they kind of sit in a weird space, like they can run interpreted and they can be compiled, like Go and
Python.
Python and Dart. Dart's another one. Yeah.
Python can be compiled?
Yeah, absolutely.
I did not know that.
Yep, absolutely.
The more you know. Do.
Yep. And a lot of the apps you use on Linux are written in Python. So, but yeah, if you just want, it just depends on what you want to learn. That's the big thing. If you want to learn logic, something like C or Dart or Go or C# are all good languages to learn, and you can write just about anything with them. So.
Sean says anything other than Perl.
A lot of people don't know this, but Ruby has the guy that wrote Ruby in Japan, he used to be a Perl programmer. So you can see some of those little details in Ruby that kind of look like Perl sometimes. It's kind of interesting. So.
Python 4 is going to have AI built in. Just kidding. That's very funny. 01. Perl was the gray tape. What do you mean by the gray tape?
It was the bomb back then, man. It was a good language.
That's funny.
It was kind of wordy though, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I only know. I can read and edit a lot of code, but I only do that for work stuff. I've really been meaning to do more like personal projects, but I just haven't had the time. I'll script a bunch of things, but that's about it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty decent with Bash. I'm kind of boring in that regard. I need to be less boring.
You'd be amazed what you can do with Bash. I mean, it's as close to being a programming language without being a programming language. So,
yeah. I like how you can pack a bunch of stuff into just a little thing to like get the results you want.
There's a guy on YouTube. I wish I could remember the name of his channel. That he really dives deep into Bash and teaches you how to do some interesting things with it. So,
well, if you find it, do share.
Let me see if I can find it while you're talking about something else.
Okay. What move on? Excuse me. Oh, rewrite your Bash scripts in Fish for fun. How different would that be? Okay. So Zorin OS released version 18. Is anybody here a Zorin OS fan? Yeah, all of you? Excellent.
I was at one point.
But not anymore.
You grew up, you moved on.
Ouch.
No. I mean, you know what I mean. Come on, mate.
I don't know what you mean, but okay, I'll go with it.
Go with it. Yeah.
We'll go with it. So, I kind of think I know what you mean, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. So, a brand new version of Zorin OS, the user-friendly Ubuntu-based Linux distribution, is available for download. Which, by the guess, I read somewhere. This is not in an article, but I read somewhere that since the whole Windows 10 thing, that Zorin OS has seen a bump in usage. So it's basically
they launched their new update on the same day that a lot of users got it deprecated from Windows. So that was pretty popular in the news recently.
The market share now 5 to 6% right now, higher than it used to be 2.
Yeah. I don't actually know. I don't think we actually really know, because a lot of Linux users are paranoid and they use user agents that mask that they're using Linux. So anyway, Zorin OS 18 is based on Ubuntu 2404.3 with Linux kernel 6.14, uses a heavily customized version of GNOME, Shell 46, which in this update has been redesigned with a floating rounded panel and adds a new window tiling extension. The distro's development team says the version aims to significantly improve productivity and app compatibility and make the system the ideal choice for anyone looking to switch to Linux now that Windows 10 has reached its end of support. Oh, look at that. Along with a new ISO download for Intel and AMD devices, Zorin OS doesn't support ARM64 devices. Users will be able to upgrade from Zorin OS 17 to 18, including those who pay for Zorin Pro. So some things that are new. Well, there's the rounded panel at the bottom. The most interesting changes are user-facing. So this redesigned desktop has various visual changes and new feature additions. The popular tiling shell, the GNOME shell extension, is pre-installed in Zorin OS, making it easy for you to quickly tile application windows with all kinds of ways. You're not limited to just screen halves or quarters. Simply drag the window to the top of the screen and the pop-up will appear. What if it's kind of like all of Windows 11? I don't know. I'm not going to play the video just in case it starts playing sounds. So adding a tiling shell to Zorin OS is a smart choice, even though the distro maker's been heavily marketing the OS as the go-to alternative for Windows 10 users who can't upgrade to Windows 11 and don't want to buy the new computer to meet the system requirements. So the tiling shell was inspired by and has since battered the Snap Assist feature Microsoft includes in Windows 11. Okay, so it is like that. The default theme is also refreshed with lighter accents. New 2 theme colors, yellow and brown, are included. So they work in light and dark mode. There's a new web app tool, which that's pretty cool. It replaced Firefox with Brave as the default browser and expands its database suggestions in the Windows Compatibility utility when the user tries to run a Windows exe file through Wine, which is pre-installed, along with bottles for easier management. So you can download Zorin. You download Zorin OS 18 if you're interested, and they have a Pro version as well. I don't know. I've used Zorin OS a few times. It's all right. I do like their. I feel like it's the modern day Lindows. Anybody use Lindows back in the day? Nope. Because I'm the cheese. That's okay. Dale. All right. There's one old guy here that's used some old weird things. Excellent.
Yeah, I used it. It actually wasn't too bad.
No, it was all right.
Yeah.
So it might be worth we haven't done Zorin, I think, in a long time. I have to check that out. Well, a bunch of people showed up here. Prophetic. Thanks for hanging out. And then, oh golly, who get that crazy font? I can't read it. Trevero, welcome. So, anybody here use Zorin right now?
Not right now, but I used the thing for the Pro version like 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, you're really quiet, Prophetic. Super quiet. Like you sound like a hearing test that I take in the military when I was in the military. That's what you sound like just now.
If you hear something in your left ear, raise your left hand. Can you hear me?
That's my right hand.
Is this a little better?
You're still extremely quiet.
I have to fix this 1 second.
It's the maybe it's the evening chat with Prophetic.
There we go. Is this a little better?
Yeah, you're still pretty quiet. Super quiet.
Trying to do some ASMR.
Yeah.
There we go.
That's much better.
Okay, cool.
Still quiet,
Hopefully
but much better.
Blow anyone's ears out.
I've done that before.
Sorry about that.
No worries. So are you still on puppy these days, or are you on MicroOS? What are you doing?
I'm bouncing around still. I was just joking about puppy, but sometimes I get the nudge to try it out. But yeah,
Puppy's
I'm
never a
on silver blue. No, I'm sorry, not silver blue. Bluefin.
Okay.
Right now, Aeon has been having some hiccups with their TPM signage loader and installer. So after some updates, sometimes you have to re-enroll keys sometimes, or it's been just a little too buggy. And I just, based on what I'm reading in the chat, at least once every other day, there's someone having some type of problem with like their enrollment keys or having to like roll something back. And so I'm just, I'll wait till there's an official release before I go back to Aeon these days.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
The thing that I've been meaning to try, I've talked about it now for probably like 6 months and just haven't done it yet, is Dale was telling me about you can make Tumbleweed do transactional updates instead of doing the standard thing that it does. And I'm wondering if there's a blend between the Cloud Ready or whatever and the traditional, like if you could form Tumbleweed to do that for you.
I've had my
Probably not
laptop
in
doing the
Tumbleweed.
automatic updates for about 6 months now.
And so it does the AB installation and
Tumbleweed?
reboots? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did for a little bit too, with Tumbleweed. But then, you know, the NVIDIA drivers will sometimes get you.
But
And
I do have the benefit of not having NVIDIA drivers.
yeah, that's the saving grace there. But if you want to talk about the whole like cloud stuff, it's like Nix gets you pretty close. You can literally push out Nix install config files from Git and like have your systems reboot. So that's a pretty nice feature there if you want to go with the cloud stuff and have some immutability at the same time. But there's a huge learning curve with Nix for a lot of people. So
that automatic update thing that I'm doing should work on slow roll too.
So one of the
yeah, I have to take a look at that. That's cool.
Well, you might want to look at too is so with, and I don't know. I've used slow roll, but it seemed like it was actually buggier than Tumbleweed, but it was also considered beta.
Yeah.
So what I think is interesting is they have an LTS kernel option in Tumbleweed. So it's kernel-long-term is the name of the package. So if you're running something like NVIDIA, you can use the LTS kernel instead, and so you don't have the same kind of breakages that you would normally have. I'm not sure how that would work. I think it'd be worth a try, but I don't know if I want to switch to a long-term kernel.
Yeah.
I kind of like the getting new kernels thing. Is that? I like
But
the
do
new
you
shiny.
do you have hardware that actually requires it?
No. Probably not. I
Yeah,
have an
that's the
Ultra
thing.
7.
It's like it really comes
155.
down to like. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like really comes down to your hardware, your kernel situation. On
Okay,
Nix
we're back.
OS itself.
Sorry about that, everybody. Code 2610, it shouldn't be dead anymore. I think we upset the AI overlords.
I told them that your chickens quit running in the wheel. So.
They did. They went to sleep. This is we're done here.
Did you not feed them again?
Oh no, they would come after me. They would. Chickens are brutal. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they peck at you. I tell you. All right.
They will hurt you.
Dude, Dale, your formatting on your document that you just shared with enabling automatic updates, your formatting on this is really nice. Nice and clean, man. Steps and explanation and purpose. Really, really good stuff in how you formatted this whole post. I really wish everyone did this way.
Thank you.
No problem. That's awesome. Oh, do we lose Cubicle Nate again?
I hope not. Can you hear me?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I hear you. Your camera's frozen, but you might want to turn off your camera just to be safe. Because it's frozen on my side. I don't know if it's anybody else.
He's moving for me.
I have a good bit rate, so I'm not going to worry about
it. Oh, okay. Maybe it's me.
I need to run through this, and I got a system I can run through this. So can I just take any? If I already have an install of OpenSUSE Tumbleweed, can I just switch over to this method, or does it have to be from? Okay.
Just update it one more time, and then just follow along.
And then the benefit here is going to be, what would you say the key benefit is for this?
I actually did it for my wife that I have on Tumbleweed, and I've got her on Tumbleweed because I think it's the best one, in my opinion. But I was concerned about her not updating it, so now she doesn't have a choice.
Okay. So for third-party repos like Pacman, you have to create a config file to enable it.
if you install it by OPI, it updates automatically with DUP. So nothing to do there. Flat packs, you do have to do a little extra. I'm not testing the flat pack part. I'd manually update flat packs, but that is the best of my knowledge. That is the correct instructions to enable flat packs automatic too.
And so this doesn't, does that turn then, would this essentially then turn Tumbleweed into more of an immutable style of distribution then?
You don't have to install
just more of
things with
a
transactional updates. You're still using Tumbleweed just like you always have. It just automatically updates at the end of the day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the update part. I think a lot of this stuff with like immutability, they get kind of muddied because you have atomic self-correcting boots, which is one layer that gets paired with immutability, which is like certain file paths are locked down except for like etc and var. And then you have the automatic updating. Those three things tend to come together, and then people tend to say that's immutability. That's immutable-based OS. Like, no, technically the immutability is really speaking to being able to re-provision only the /etc and /var, which is the only parts you can write to. That's only one piece. So that's where a lot of people get grumpy about naming conventions for immutability. Like, oh, it's not immutable OS. It's not really technically immutable. And then they go on this thing when it really is like three pieces coming together.
Yeah, it seems like this is a good way to do it because then you just reboot into the update.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about That's kind of cool.
And if it breaks the update, it falls back on the previous best snapshot. So
yes.
So like they feed off and play off one another, and that's what makes it awesome. So people get hung up on the immutability part, like, oh, but I want to write to everything anywhere all the time. It's like, well, that's just one piece of it. To protect yourself, you also have these two other pieces: automatic updates that you don't have to bother with, and safe reboots. Like you'll never, or rarely would you ever have an issue booting into your system. You'll always have a working system.
And the thing that I wrote, it does snapshots also. And if there's any issue with it updating, it just doesn't update and doesn't create a snapshot and doesn't reboot.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So something like this, I need to play with this.
I'd be happy for some other people to test it besides just me. That's kind of what I'm waiting on to make a YouTube video for it. Is just I want to make sure it works before I do. And for me, it has, but I'm a pretty small test bed.
Actually, I have the perfect candidate for it.
I wonder how it deals with tail scale, because that's not coming from open.
What are you looking to have tested? Sorry?
Just the link that I shared there in the Discord on how to update Tumbleweed automatically.
So 01 asks, is transactional the same as atomic? I have no idea. They're all muddy to me now.
No.
I used to understand, but now I don't.
No. Transactional is just really staging your next boot. It's pretty much like we are writing these changes to the next volume on your your subvolume of your hard drive to boot into next. We're staging that. That's what transactional is.
Cool.
So it's ready for your next boot. Atomic is when it actually it reverts to the old boot if it's not successful in the new boot.
So then are those then related then? In this case, would this be an atomic?
I guess the transactional is staging for atomic reboot if it fails. It's kind of remembering. Transactional helps remember what to fall back to in case whatever happened that the transactional update failed. And that's what the atomic part comes in if the boot fails.
Gotcha. Okay. Well,
it's
neat.
a dance.
Does sound like a dance. But I'm not very good at dancing, so I'd probably fall. Well, it's time for community free pour. So StormOS, I see that we got Seeker, we got Ben, and also Ricky. I don't know what you want to talk about this time, but something StormOS related, I suppose.
Yeah. I'll let Red start off because he's got a sister project that he's been working on. So, Red?
A sister project?
Yeah, basically a spin-off of StormOS outside of Ethos. So it's the...
Whoa.
Your mic is overdriven right
you
now.
might have to bring
your
down your
mic's
input.
overdrafting, Red.
It's fun when computers decide things for you.
Yeah.
Mine was too low and his is too high.
It's the way it goes
We
sometimes.
announced it on my SourceForge page, so it links to his. And basically, it's a more advanced version of the distro, so to speak. Right, Red?
Yes, sir. How about now? Do I sound better?
Sound great.
Yeah, you sound good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's a sister project. It's a sister project I came up with. It's kind of like my own spin of it, but it's meant for more novice to advanced users. Meanwhile, StormOS is going to stay new for newer users to novice people. Yeah.
Yeah, and StormOS just because his had a lot of the hybrid advanced things on it, we decided to revert the main one back to the whisker menu, the OG panel, that sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and Ricky and I and Red had a discussion. We decided to bring back the Debian and Gentoo versions, and that's where we're limiting it. So we got the Debian version up and running and the latest Arch build, and right now we have the Gentoo one finishing up. Then we'll be testing
is Gentoo because you
those.
like hurting yourself? Is that the reason why you do Gentoo?
Well,
yeah, I
not
thought you guys
really,
were
but
dropping it because it was too much.
Do what?
I thought you were dropping. Yeah,
I thought you guys were dropping it for before. You guys said it was too
Yeah,
much to handle. So
I know in the last free port we said that we were dropping it, but we decided to retract that and keep it. But either way, we've got the Gentoo one building right now, and it's sort of the fact that the one there isn't really a decent. There's never been an XFCE plus Calamari's version of Gentoo, and we decided, nobody else is going to make it, so we're going to do it. And so, I should mention, if Calamari's does not work out, we are currently prepping a GTK installer that myself and Natalie Spiva have started working on, and if Calamari's doesn't work out, we're going to bring that into the picture.
If I want to add one thing to this, we were saving the this for last. As of the January 2025.1 release of StormOS, there is going to be officially a secondary desktop environment option that will be included in the next ISO. XFCE will still be the main one, but we're including an experimental secondary desktop environment of our choosing. And the one that we have decided on is the Cosmic Desktop environment.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Was that easy to integrate, the Cosmic Desktop environment?
Yeah. All we have to do is bring back the online packages thing, which I can figure out. That's no problem. And then Ricky just tells me what the Cosmic packages are, and then we'll put them in, and boom, done.
I've been actually testing the Cosmic Beta on my main machine. While it is a little graphically laggy and a little glitchy, I figured, it works fine. I don't see why we wouldn't add it as a secondary environment, just to cater to the Mac OS users, because we have our XFCE flagship environment, which caters to both Windows and Mac OS users. But we've been trying to figure out for the longest time how to solely grab those Mac OS users that are coming to Linux from Mac OS. And me and Ben thought Cosmic is the closest thing we're going to get. So that's basically our decision.
So based on
Yeah,
appearance.
he's right. And we decided, rather than build like a fourth ISO, which is not our plan in the slightest, we are planning to just have it as a secondary desktop in Colorado.
Well, neat. Well, it sounds like you guys are having a ball.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Good deal. Well, thank you for the update. I'm always just I'm a little concerned about stretching yourself thin again with the whole Gen 2 thing. But if you got an itch to scratch, get an itch to scratch. So it's not, that's for you to figure out.
Yeah,
but
the Gen 2 edition is sort of our last one that we're going to have going around than the Debian. So, yeah, and, that's where we're going to leave it. So, and hopefully by next week we'll have the Gen 2 build ready and all that sort of stuff. So,
cool.
But yeah, we're going to spend the next week testing it in a VM and also on hardware, and then take it from there, right, guys?
I think it'd be interesting to see, like a highly read or seeker or whatever, however it be referred, customized distro. I think some of the things that he builds, I think, are very interesting.
We'd love to get more reception for EcoOS because he's put a lot of heart and soul into it, just like he always does with StormOS. And we'd love to have a distro delve on here of that one, right, Red?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, whenever that works for you guys, that is. And we've all been messing around with it, playing with it, and so whenever you guys want to do a distro explore of his thing, we'd love to have it.
Or at least maybe a demonstration sometime.
It's not meant for newbie users, it's meant for more power users, like he said. So.
Right. So. Got it.
Yes.
Well, good deal.
And there's Vince.
Vince. Where?
Jumping in at the very end.
Here.
Oh, there he is.
Vince.
Looks like a banana peel getting ready to get slipped on. Excellent. Well, thanks for slipping in there, banana peel. Well, it is closing time, so I want to go ahead and move on to the last bit of this here. Vince, since you've been here the whole time, I'm sure, and I haven't heard from you. What do you got going on?
Nothing much. I've been eating a lot of pork.
Oh, okay.
Just because what we do.
Well, that's good. I made some pork chops today for lunch.
Nice.
I sous vide them for like 3 hours beforehand, and then I grilled them. They were very tender. It was wonderful. I highly recommend a sous vide, by the way.
What kind of sous vide do you use, and also a vacuum sealer?
So I got it on Amazon. It was $70.
Nice.
But there's a little vacuum pump there to get the air out of the bag, and then I had to buy a different pot ultimately, and then I just had it on my counter. Had it going for like 3.5 hours or so. It was then I got a cast iron skillet, and then I just got it really hot, seasoned it, threw it on there, and it was it got quite the rave reviews from my kids. So anyway, maybe not rave. I might be exaggerating. But anyway, lots of pork. Well, Dale, what do you got going on? Anything? So, I know you said you wanted some testing done on your step-by-step guide.
Yeah, and any feedback, Dale at lowtechlinux.com would be great.
Okay.
I'm also currently testing Tumbleweed builds on Raspberry Pi.
Sweet. I've been running Tumbleweed on a Raspberry Pi for quite a while. It's been pretty problem-free for the most part. I run Plasma and everything on a Pi 4.
I'll get the Pi 5.
Oh, wow, can't hide money.
It was gifted.
Oh, okay. Excellent. If anybody else had anything wanted to contribute, I think Mike, I know you've always got something going on. You got a new application I know has had a lot of downloads with that.
Yeah, I did. Actually, with MarkLight, I've got a Snap available now, and it's actually in the Snap store, and it will be in the Ubuntu 2604 PPAs. So, yeah, happy with that. And Resize All, I've got a Windows version out there if someone needs it for Windows. And those are both available at marklight.app and resizeall.app. But the big news for me is I got a new system on the way.
All right, what is it?
I ordered a Lenovo ThinkStation P7.
Okay.
It'll be here Wednesday, I think. And it's a Xeon processor-based workstation. And I got an NVIDIA, I think it's a 3060 with it.
Sweet.
4-monitor display card and 64 gig, 2 1 terabyte drives. Trying to think what else. I think that's about it. But yeah, looking forward to getting that set up and running.
Awesome.
I finished depreciating my current computer, so it's time to depreciate another one.
I got you. I may have received one of those computers, which actually has been a lot of fun to play with. Yeah, it's. I'm gonna take it to work with me, but I think I'm gonna put an SSD in there to get a little more performance out of it, and then I think I'm gonna take it to work. But yeah, it runs great.
Yeah.
So that's some new hardware I got. Mike sent me a 2007 era MacBook computer with a polycarbonate case. The host name, because I like to do transformers for host names, I called it Snowcat because it's kind of a sad, pathetic Decepticon.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. But it works fine. So.
Yeah, it works great. Actually works better with Tumbleweed than it did with a Mac OS on there. It's a little more responsive.
Good.
Not that that's a surprise. Running Plasma too. Tried running Minecraft, but it's got to be an old version of Minecraft. It falls on its face. Anyways, well, cool. So you got also you say your BBS going?
Yeah, BBS is still up and running. Just adding networks to it, message networks to it when I can. So
that's cool.
Got a couple hundred users on there now. So yeah, kind of interesting.
That's very cool.
I think most of them just come once or twice and they'll leave, but that's okay.
It's still a number you can tick up, right?
Yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to setting up my new machine and getting that going. I usually take a break over December for about 3 weeks and do stuff like that I need to do. So.
Cool. Well, thank you for being here. And I don't know if anybody has anything else. Zach, I don't know if you had any comments. Oh, Seeker, you had something else.
I was just basically gonna say is I've created because it is an advance for EcoS. It is a brand new design and style for the panel. I created a whole, not a large set, but a series of instructional videos that can be found under, and it's not intended as a plug, but it's a plug for Fishman Loves Linux, if you guys remember him.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's loaded on his the the how-tos are loaded on his YouTube channel. Fishman Loves Linux. So
cool.
Yeah, just to learn how to mitigate and maneuver within the panel itself.
Well, that's very cool.
And that was it. Yeah.
Well, I want to plug for Sean here, although I wish Sean would join, but he's probably busy. So this is Open Print 3D. So check that out. There's an open source initiative around 3D printing that I think you should. I was looking for the link, but I can't find the link immediately. Maybe where did I do with it? Somewhere here I have a link to it. But if I find it. But anyway,
I just got a 3D printer. Which one do you have?
I have a couple. I have the first one actually I have three, but the first one I don't use it anymore right now. I have a Coreutils Ender 3, and then I have a QIDI or Sheedy X Max 3. It's a larger printer, and I print larger things on that. So, yep, it's an addiction. And I have lots.
I have
an
Ender 3, but I just got a Bamboo Lab QMS.
Oh. What's your print volume, like print size, like how big's your build plate?
That's a great question. I haven't even unboxed it yet. It was a Black Friday purchase, so it just got here.
Those are the best right there. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's awesome. So Zach, thanks for being here. It's your first time, and hopefully you come back. Really hope you come back. Great having you.
For sure. Great to be here. Have a good one.
All right. I'm on a podcast called Linux Out Loud. You can check that out. Also, I have a website called cubiclate.com. I write things. So Linux Saloon is part of the Tux Digital Network, so check out more great shows at tuxdigital.com. I want to thank you all for your support. However you do it, being a part of the conversation, both here in the Discord meeting or the YouTube chat. However you do it, if you watch a show after the fact, that's also great. Thank you very much for that. I think everyone involved in making the Linux open source tool as possible for us not only have this conversation, but also to have fun and enjoy our technology. Linux truly puts personal back in your personal computer. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to tip your developers, and please remember to Linux responsibly. Until next time, see yous.
Bye, guys.